Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Get Play Soon and welcome to the brand new series Random Interview Question Series Episode 1. We are going to discuss the interview question: what are asset properties in DBMS? In the context of databases, asset properties are the four properties that ensure database transactions are processed reliably. So, ACID is an acronym where A stands for atomicity, C stands for consistency, I stands for isolation, and D stands for durability. So, A, C, I, D, all these are the four properties that one must follow to ensure the database runs efficiently, right? So, now let's go one by one and understand what it means. Let's start with atomicity. Atomicity ensures that a transaction is treated as a single, indivisible unit of work. For example, consider a bank transfer where money is withdrawn from one account and deposited to another. Now there are two parts. One is withdrawing from one account and the second part is depositing to another account. Here we are considering both as one transaction. Okay? So it is not two parts, it is one part. For example, if the transaction is successfully completed, then it will be committed to the database. Well and good. And there is no partial execution. Why I am saying there is no partial execution is, if for suppose any part of the transaction fails, then the entire transaction is failed. Then the transaction is rolled back to the normal state to maintain its data integrity. For example, if one part of the transaction fails, which means if the withdrawal process is failed, then we cannot do the deposit. Or if withdrawal is successful and we are doing the deposit and deposit failed, then the money we withdraw we'll send back. We'll not go into deposit, we'll send back and roll back. So because of this, the account becomes unchanged, it returns to the original place, and the data will be safe, the money will be safe. And this concept is known as atomicity. So in simple words, it is all or nothing principle. Either successful, it gets committed to database. If not successful, any part is not successful, then it gets rolled back. That is known as atomicity. Going ahead, we have consistency. Now, consistency ensures the database remains in a valid state before and after the execution of transaction. So, before transaction, after transaction, the database should not have any differences. It should maintain the same state, right? It should follow all the defined rules. It should follow the constraints. It should maintain all the relationships within the database. So, when a transaction is completed successfully, it should not violate any integrity constraints or any rules defined for the database. So for your understanding, I'll give you a small example. Consistency means all rules must be followed, all constraints must be clear and cut, right? So for example, in a database, every customer must have unique ID. It is a must and should followed thing. And every databases will maintain that, right? So that's one example. Moving ahead, we have isolation. Now, isolation ensures that the execution of multiple transactions concurrently does not interfere with each other. So, for example, A is sending money to B and P is sending money to Q. Now, AB will not interfere with PQ. Each transaction should operate independently of other transactions. As I said, A will not interfere with P and P will not interfere with A. So, they do the transaction as if they are the only transaction running in the database. They'll not bother about others, right? So, being like this will prevent issues like dirty reads, non-repeatable reads, phantom reads. All these are the problems that usually occurs, but with the help of isolation, these problems will not occur. Also, the most important point, the transactions are not visible to other until it is completed and committed. So if some payment is being done, so it is still loading, it is not visible to the database. Once it is completed, then it is committed to the database. Alright, so this property is known as isolation. Next we have durability. Durability guarantees that once a transaction is committed, its changes are permanently saved and will not be lost. Even if the system is failed, then there will not be any changes in the database. Everything is safe in the database. This means if there is a modification made to committed transaction, the database will be able to recover a consistent state after a restart. Even if the system crashes, for example, like a power outage, the changes will be committed once the system get back to its original position. Okay, so this concept is known as durability. So all these properties collectively ensure the database will withstand any future failures or concurrency scenarios. So these are the four fundamental properties known as acid properties that are maintained by databases. That's it from my side. Thank you so much for watching till the end.